There's something about a forest that stirs the imagination. The towering trees, the rustling leaves, the endless shadows. It's a place of beauty and mystery. But some forests are different. Some are places where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, where the trees whisper secrets, and where the shadows come alive. Tonight, I'll share 3 terrifying stories from a haunted forest, a place where the past refuses to stay buried, and the darkness is always watching. There's a forest near my hometown that everyone avoids. They call it the Whispering Woods, and for good reason. Locals say the trees speak, the shadows move, and those who enter never return. I didn't believe the stories until I went there myself. It started as a dare. My friends and I were sitting around a campfire sharing scary stories when someone mentioned the Whispering Woods. No one's ever spent a night there, they said. You wouldn't last an hour. I laughed it off, but deep down I was curious. So the next night, I packed a bag and headed into the woods. At first, everything seemed normal. The trees were tall and ancient, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out the moonlight. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and pine. But as I ventured deeper, I noticed something strange. The forest was silent. No birds, no insects, no wind. Just an eerie, oppressive silence. Then I heard it. A faint whisper, like someone calling my name. I turned around, but there was no one there. "Hello?" I called out, my voice echoing through the trees. The whisper came again, louder this time. "Leave. Now," it said. My heart raced, but I kept walking. I wasn't going to let a little fear stop me. The deeper I went, the more the forest seemed to change. The trees grew closer together, their branches twisting into strange, unnatural shapes. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, overlapping into a chaotic chorus. "You shouldn't be here," they said. "You'll never leave." I tried to ignore them, but the forest had other plans. That's when I saw it. A shadowy figure standing between the trees. It was tall, too tall to be human, with long, spindly limbs that seemed to stretch unnaturally. Its head tilted to the side, and even from a distance, I could feel its gaze on me. "Run," a voice whispered. I didn't need to be told twice. I ran, crashing through the underbrush, the whispers turning into screams that echoed in my ears. I could feel something chasing me, something fast and relentless. My heart pounded in my chest, and my legs burned, but I didn't dare look back. When I finally burst out of the woods and into the parking lot, the screams stopped. The figure was gone, but the whispers didn't stop for me. Even now, weeks later, I hear them, soft at first, just a murmur in the back of my mind. But they're growing louder, more insistent, and sometimes when I'm alone, I catch a glimpse of that figure in the corner of my eye, tall, spindly, and watching. But the Whispering Woods is just the beginning. Some forests are even darker, and even more dangerous. The Forgotten Trail was more than just a legend in my town. It was a warning. People spoke about it in hushed tones, claiming it led to a hidden clearing deep in the woods where strange things happened. No one had ever found it, or at least no one who did ever spoke about it afterward. But I wanted to be the first to prove it was real. I set out at dawn, my backpack packed with supplies, water, a flashlight, a knife, just in case. The woods were dense, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and rotting leaves. The deeper I went, the more the trail seemed wrong. It twisted in ways that didn't make sense, doubling back on itself, narrowing when it should have opened. My compass spun uselessly, the needle twitching as if confused. Then I heard it, a voice, soft and distant, slipping through the trees like a breath of wind. "This way." I stopped, my pulse pounding in my ears. I wasn't alone. The voice came again, closer this time, and without thinking, I followed. The deeper I went, the heavier the air became, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. The sunlight dimmed, strangled by the canopy above, and an unnatural silence swallowed every sound. No birds, no rustling leaves, just my own footsteps. Then, suddenly, I was there. The clearing. It was smaller than I'd imagined, perfectly circular, as if something had burned away the surrounding trees long ago. In the center stood a single ancient tree. Its bark was gnarled, twisted into grotesque shapes, its skeletal branches stretching outward like arms frozen in agony. At its roots lay a pile of bones, human bones. A sharp chill ran through me. "Welcome!" The voice was behind me. I turned, my breath caught in my throat. No one was there, but something moved. Shadows shifted between the trees, their shapes wrong, too tall, too thin, their eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "You're not supposed to be here." The voice was layered now, multiple voices whispering at once. My stomach clenched. I took a step back, then another. The path was gone. The way I'd come had been swallowed by the forest, replaced by more trees, more shadows. The whispers grew louder, insistent. "You'll never leave." Panic surged through me. I bolted. Branches clawed at my skin. Unseen roots threatened to trip me. But I didn't stop. I ran blindly, lungs burning, my own ragged breathing mixing with the voices chasing me. Then, I was back. The forest was normal again. The trail behind me stretched out like it always had, as if nothing had changed. The clearing was gone. No bones, no tree, no shadows. But I knew the truth. I never found the forgotten trail again. But sometimes when I'm alone, I hear the whispers, soft, distant, calling, and I know the forest is still waiting for me. But the forgotten trail is just a taste of the horrors that await. Some forests are not meant to be explored, and some trails lead to places you can't return from. The cabin in the woods was a mystery. No one knew who built it or why it was abandoned, but everyone agreed on one thing: it was cursed. People told stories of strange figures lurking near its door, of voices that whispered through the trees, of those who entered but never returned. I didn't believe in curses, but when my friends dared me to spend the night there, I laughed and accepted without hesitation. I shouldn't have. The cabin was worse than I expected. The roof sagged under the weight of time, its wooden planks warped and rotting. Moss clung to the walls like a second skin, and the windows were dark, like empty eye sockets staring into the night. I hesitated at the door, but I wasn't about to back down. The old hinges groaned as I pushed it open. Inside, the air was thick with mildew, dust, and something else, something foul and rotting. The floor creaked beneath my weight as I stepped inside, my flashlight casting long, trembling shadows across the room. I unrolled my sleeping bag in the corner, but no matter how I tried to settle in, a strange unease crept over me. The cabin was silent, too silent. No crickets, no wind, just the sound of my own breathing. Then came the first noise, a creak, a soft but deliberate creak on the porch. I held my breath, listening. Then, whispers. Faint, distant, but unmistakable. They seemed to slither through the wooden walls, just beneath the surface. I swallowed hard. "Just the wind," I told myself. But then, the voice came. "Come outside." It was soft, almost inviting. I froze, my skin crawling. I squeezed my eyes shut, willing myself to ignore it. But the voice grew louder, more insistent, each word dripping with something unnatural. "Come outside." I couldn't take it anymore. Gripping my flashlight, I forced myself to the door and swung it open. The forest was still, unnaturally still. The air was colder than before, heavy with the scent of damp earth and something metallic, something like blood. Then, I saw it. A figure standing at the edge of the trees. It was tall and thin, its body shrouded in shadow. Its eyes, two faint, glowing orbs, locked onto mine. It didn't move, it didn't speak. Then, without warning, its lips parted. "You're not supposed to be here." The voice wasn't human. A chill shot down my spine. I staggered backward, my heart hammering against my ribs. Every instinct screamed at me to run. I bolted inside, slamming the door shut. My breaths came in ragged gasps, my hands shaking as I fumbled with the lock. But the cabin had changed. The walls, once bare, were now covered in symbols, etched deep into the wood, glowing faintly as if alive. The air thickened, choking me with the acrid stench of burning wood and decay. Then, the voice came again, closer, clearer. "You'll never leave." The cabin groaned, the walls seemed to close in. Shadows twisted unnaturally in the corners, the whispers turned into a chorus, rising to a deafening hum. I squeezed my eyes shut. "Wake up! Wake up!" Then, silence. I gasped, my eyes flying open. I was in my sleeping bag. The cabin was normal again. No symbols, no smoke, no voice. Had it been a dream? A hallucination? I didn't stay to find out. I grabbed my bag and ran. I never went back to that cabin. But sometimes when I'm alone, when the night is quiet and the air is still, I hear it again. Software. Distant. Come outside. And I know. It's still waiting for me. The forest is a place of beauty and terror, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. These stories are just a glimpse into the darkness that lurks behind the trees and shadows. But remember, not all forests are what they seem, and not all trails lead to safety. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more chilling tales. And tell me in the comments, would you dare to enter a haunted forest? Until next time, stay curious, but be careful where you wander. The shadows are always watching.